It's not a good day to be a bad guy.
What's up, metalheads? This is Wayne.
And Michelle.
And we are from the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. And you are listening to
Burton and Aaron on the Lost in the Dark podcast.
Raise your horns.
Lost in the dark.
Welcome back, Crypt Crew! Thank you so much for joining me on this brand new episode of Lost in the Dark podcast. I'm so happy to have you all here right now. Tonight, we welcome our brothers all the way from Florida, the one, the only, Goonlord. We got Wesley and Jono from Goonlord on the show tonight, and I cannot wait for you guys to see this. We had a great time. They really had some amazing stories, actually. But first up, as always, we got to get into some shout-outs. And first up, pretty much as always, our brothers from Wisconsin, the Dipping Milk in Cookies podcast. Join your hosts, Garrett the Cookie Commander Smith and Mike the Master Milker Segovia, as these two best friends try to figure out this thing we call life using friends, guests, and microphones. Absolutely one of my favorite podcasts ever. They have these amazing segments like the Master Milker's Mysterious Mysteries. They also do like questions of the week and stuff on their Facebook. So be sure to follow them on Facebook, because if you answer their question of the week, they'll respond to it live on the show and you'll get a shout out. And that is fucking awesome. Love these guys so much. Finally got to meet Garrett in person, because of course he is the guitarist for Reflection of Flesh. Got to see them up here in Michigan on Halloween night, and it was just an absolute honor. And I cannot speak highly of these guys enough or their podcast. So everybody be sure to check out all things Dipping Milk in Cookies podcast. Next up, we have our Michigan family from the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast, coming to you from the glacial dumping ground known as the Michigan Mason. Wayne and Michelle are a husband and wife educator and podcasting duo that examine UFOs and other paranormal topics within Michigan and beyond. Topics include the paranormal, conspiracy theories, UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman, ghosts, and alternative history, cryptids, and all things strange and paranormal. Wayne and Michelle are two of my favorite people that I've ever met from doing this podcast. They have given us so much love. You hear them at the top of every one of our episodes. They did that amazing read for us. And every episode they put out, for me, it's like the gift that keeps on giving, because every episode, every guest they have on, I end up following that guest, their YouTube channel, their podcast, and having whole new rabbit holes and wormholes to go down. So if you are a fan of the paranormal at all, be sure to give the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast a try. Also join their Facebook groups. They have amazing Facebook groups. That's kind of how they started, actually. And they are really constantly updating with new sightings and new paranormal encounters and events and stuff like that. It's really a great group to be. Hey, got the t-shirt on right here, as a matter of fact. Check out their store. They have amazing t-shirts. I mean, come on. It's got a fucking alien holding Michigan. Like, this is a must-have. So everybody be sure to check out all things Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. Now, next up to the band shout-outs, our brothers, Lansing's own fucking, what more can I say, fucking Bog Wraith. Aaron, the drummer, is my co-host. Mike and Alex do the Bog Talk podcast, and Bog Wraith has been one of the most important bands ever in my entire life to me. I cannot ever say these guys are brothers. These guys are a legitimate family. I would do fucking anything for any of them. They are amazing. So, their most recent release, I believe, well, they did the Surfacing Slipknot cover, which was amazing. They got a video out for it and everything. Outstanding. Be sure to check that out. And then before that, they released Titan, but they are working on new stuff, and that's really all I can say. But be sure to keep an eye out and check out all things fucking Bog Wraith. And last but never least, the last one on our band shoutouts for the night, our fucking Texas family. Oh my God. Coming all the way from Texas, motherfucking Scream at the Sky. They just released a brand new one earlier, like a couple months ago, called Stay in the Clouds. It's fucking amazing. I got to see these guys perform live down in Battle Creek 2 or 3 months back. It was an honor to meet them, hang out with them. These guys are absolute fucking Crypt crew family for life. I love them so much, and I hope that they will make an appearance on our holiday special coming up next. So be sure to keep an eye out for them. Check out all things Scream at the Sky. I think Scream at the Sky Texas is their handle on most social media. So check out all things Scream at the Sky. They fucking destroy the stage, and they fucking destroy on the record. It's fucking amazing. So all things Scream at the Sky, Bog Wraith, Dipping Milk in Cookies podcast, and the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. But without further ado, my friends, let's get into it. Here it is. Everyone, Crypt crew, please join me in welcoming our fucking Florida family from Goonlord to the podcast. Here we go, everyone. Hope you enjoy. Here we go. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Today we are joined by Jono and Wes from Goonlord. Thank you, guys.
Yo.
I always like to start off by asking people, because I'm always genuinely fascinated by it. I always wonder, like, how did you guys even get into heavy metal to begin with?
Wow.
Like, what's your little metal origin story, if you will?
I remember my earliest introduction to metal music was Metallica through my dad.
Hell yeah.
I was probably like 5 years old, kindergarten age, and he picked me up from school in his little Chevy S10, and he had the Black Album on cassette, and he was like, Wesley, I want to show you this. And it just like blew my mind what I just had listened to, and then just like it stacked on from there.
Awesome.
It was really like Quiet Riot, Anthrax, and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
Damn, you guys into some thrash.
He was into it for sure.
I guess my story is kind of similar. My dad kind of was always like a big metalhead. But it was more of like me and my brother. Like once we started getting into metal together, he started playing drums. I started playing guitar, and then we just went on the almighty search of the heaviest breakdown and stuff. Yep. It's kind of the way that went. And it pretty much started out with thrash as well, like Suicidal Tendencies, Life of Agony, stuff like that, old school Slayer and everything.
Oh yeah. So it's kind of a big range then too. I like that.
Oh
yeah, I like all of it. It doesn't, everything from fucking Quiet Riot to Slayer, and everything in between.
Hell yeah.
I love it though. So how long then have you guys been a band?
In Goonlord, it's been a little over 2 years now.
And is this both of your first bands that you've ever been in, or have you been in previous acts before?
I got that.
Yeah, we actually met. He was in a band called Catcher in the Rye that's down here in Orlando as well. They were looking for another guitar player. I had recently just started playing again after like taking like an 8-year, break from playing guitar pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, and I joined the band and stuff. I met Wes, and then we just kind of evolved and like just became really good friends, and then it became like we were a package deal. So like we said that shit through so many bands now.
Some bands don't like hearing it.
Yeah. we were in a band recently that we went on tour with, the Convalescents and stuff, and that's how we met Keith and Ronald and Katie and everybody. It was just they're really great people, and then when we left that band, got kicked out because I party a little too hard or something.
Happens.
Yeah. So I got kicked out of that band, and Wesley got kicked out of the band for just simply continuing to be my friend. So we were like, just kind of like, fuck it, we're gonna do whatever we can to try to start something new. And then we just started mowing over some riff ideas, and then we came up with the band name, and then we started adding all the extra pieces to the pie.
Oh yeah. Where I gotta ask where the name Goonlord comes from, because when I first heard it, I was like, hang on, what? And then and then it like grew on me. Like I love the name.
Fuck yeah.
Goonlord was kind of like just this idea that Jono and I came up with, where he would always just call everybody a bunch of goons. Like that was just like a signature Jono thing. And are we allowed to say anything on here?
Yeah,
we're allowed to cuss and stuff.
Yeah, whatever you want to say. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay.
So he would just like throw the weed at me and call me the bong lord. And from just going with the goon back and forth and that, it just became like this combination where we thought like, yo, Goonlord, that sounds like something cool. And we thought of like so many other different names, and just nothing really like stuck. Like there was Hammered, there was Grizzly,
Fat Neck Incorporated.
Which I still want to name our EP at some point. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
But there's so many different names that we tried to come up with, but Goonlord was like the only consistent one. We like went back and forth for months on it.
Well, everybody hated it at first.
And now we all have it tattooed on us.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love it. So if I'm not mistaken, you guys released your first song as Goonlord. Was that 2019?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And it's been pretty solid progression of singles since then. Have you done it like a full EP or a full length album yet?
That's actually what we're working on currently. We're in the writing process. We got a couple of new songs and stuff we played out live. We've yet to record, just to kind of gauge the crowd reaction, how like people will groove to the new stuff, because it's not really Goonlord is kind of like a growing entity. Like we're not trying to like pigeonhole ourselves into any kind of genre. It's just the idea of be heavy.
Yeah.
And whatever that means, it has to be heavy. So that's pretty much where we were going.
Lots of influences all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. And now we have new writers and stuff in the band and stuff as well. So, but yeah, we are currently in the process of in writing right now, and then we're gonna start doing pre-pros and get everything put together, get some artwork and everything for a couple of singles, and then release the whole EP. Probably coming up at the end of this next year. We're looking at.
Awesome. That you guys just had a music video come out for Caveman, correct?
Yeah.
Dude, the fucking artwork in that was amazing. It was like a fucked up cross between like, I don't know, it was like some kind of like you remember those books, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? It kind of reminded me of that artwork, but mixed with like a little Tim Burton kind of feel to it going on. Absolutely fucking gnarly as fuck looking. Who did that? Who was the animator for that one?
Shout out to Matt Duncan at Crypt. It's one of my homies from high school and stuff. I remember, being in like writing class and stuff with him, and he just had like a notepad, and he'd just be drawing these little characters and stuff, and he would fill up this entire fucking 3-subject notebook with like little doodles that covered up the whole page. Wow. And since we've grown up and stuff, he just kind of kept going with his art and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And then I started seeing him like do animation, and we were just trying to really think out of the box and not kind of just do like the band in the warehouse music video, like everybody does that,
or in the woods,
kind of cliche. Exactly. We were just trying to look to do something a little bit different, and
so it wasn't looking good.
He definitely gave us something that was unique, and I really enjoy it. So I hope everybody else enjoys it as well.
I thought it was stellar. The crazy part too. Have you heard of another band I know through Keith is Casket Robbery? Have you ever heard of them?
Yes.
Yeah. They just came out with like an animated video, not like that at all. It has like a stop motion claymation kind of thing going on, but that one blew me away too. And I just like, I really love seeing like metal bands bring in like that kind of artwork and stuff into the videos. I think it's different. It's awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's really cool. I have to check that one out. I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah. It's pretty creepy. I like it. It's called Bone Mother. Bone Mother, I believe, is the name of the track. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's badass.
So
we just wrote a new song called Orange Blossom Abortion.
Oh, that's awesome. Jono, how long? You said you took a long time off. How long have you been playing guitar?
I've been playing since I was like 12, 11,
Okay.
like right in that little area. I'm 33 now, so I've been playing in church and stuff. Like when I first started, that's where it kind of started at, like chapel singers and choir and everything. And then it was just like, you know, Satan, you know, and then that's when everything came into play. The devil.
That's awesome. What's your what's your favorite what kind of guitar do you like to play? What's your favorite like brand or whatever?
I'm really enjoying my my LTD right now. It seems to have like everything that I need. It has all the you know, the gain and everything in the pickups, and it plays just flawlessly. I've played Schecters, I've played Jacksons, I've played, you know, everything, and it just kind of seems like the baritone LTD that I have is just, it's like God mode right now for me. Anyways, I know there's all kinds of crazy boutique guitar makers out right now, and you know, I would eventually love to try them out, but you know, I need to stay within like the $1,000 budget. You know, yeah, they're expensive as hell.
They are, yeah.
You know?
I'm not. I play LTD as well, though. I love ESP and LTD are fucking. They just rule.
Yeah, they just have everything you need for fucking like heavy slams. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I play fucking one of his guitars, Alexi, one of Alexi's guitars. Wes, how did you get started in singing? And where do you come up with that scream, dude? You have a really like unique sound that I think is killer.
Thank you. I've been like, I'm 27.
Okay.
I got into doing the metal style vocals. I think I was probably like 14 or 15 years old. My buddy had got Rock Band on his PS3, and he got into his mom's credit card and got all the DLC songs. So we were listening to like, you know, Whitechapel and Suicide Silence then, and we play it on Rock Band. So like, I get up on the microphone and just try to like go along with it, and you know, it didn't sound anything good, but I liked how it felt when I did it. So I like kept pursuing it from there, and like just listening to different bands and just try to like recreate that sound, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then from then on, I just kind of built it up to where I feel like I'm just trying to just sound myself now, rather than try to sound like something else I've heard.
Hell yeah, dude. That's the hardest part, is figuring out that point where it's like you're not impersonating anymore. You make your own voice, you know, kind of a thing. It's
a long journey.
It is a long journey. Absolutely. Now, so you guys released the first single in 2019. Now, has it always been the same lineup for Goonlord?
It's switched up a few times now.
Okay.
We've had a few member changes, but it's been consistent with the current lineup now for a little over a year.
Yeah, a little over a year now. We had a lot of inconsistency with like last members and like old members and everything, and we've had to just kind of work, and you know, COVID shut everything down playing live and stuff, so it kind of gave us time to like find the members that like kind of fit into the machine, you know.
A rebranding at that point.
Yeah, and we had time to just kind of like do recording and stuff, and we went and recorded a couple of songs with Chris Whited, and that's right when our lead guitar player Quentin and our bass player Lars joined the band, like right at that same time, and it's just been the same lineup since then. So,
oh yeah, and it sounded like you mentioned earlier that you said you've got some other writers in the band now. What is the songwriting process like for you guys?
It's a lot of like guitar driven songs and stuff, like writing like with just writing guitar riffs and stuff, and John is kind of like an unconventional drummer. Like he doesn't really do a lot of like blast beats for like slam and stuff. Like we're heavy and everything, but he always does something a little bit different that's kind of like off the wall. And then Wesley usually comes in and throws some fucking lyrics on top of it, and then we find his vocal cues. And then Lars is just he's a great bass player. He he never even plays any of the riffs that we're playing on guitar. He kind of does it like his own like counterpoint bass playing. So if you ever get a chance to like kind of like focus on the songs and stuff that we have recorded, you can hear Lars in the background playing like something that's not even, it doesn't even sound like the song that we're playing. So it's pretty interesting.
He might as well be playing the guitar on his 6-string bass.
He really should be.
God damn. Is it 6-string?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah, 6-string.
That's awesome.
Like a fucking monster.
Have you guys been able to get back on stage as Goonlord yet?
Yeah, we played a few shows.
Okay.
Go ahead, Wes.
Yeah, it's been cool. Like, it hasn't, like, for a while there, it wasn't very consistent. Like, there'd be little random pop-up shows, like, kind of underground, almost like the olden days with fucking bars and shit. And we have the stuff, so kind of deal.
Yeah.
And then after a while, it started getting a little more picking up. COVID definitely kind of screwed everything out there, but it's been pretty consistent.
Oh yeah, excellent. Well, and it had to fucking feel pretty damn good to get back on stage after everything too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
It was a scary feeling.
When we jumped back on stage, we had the whole new lineup, so like it was just a whole nother like part of the band that was like added to us. So when we did jump back on stage, it's just been wild. Like all of our shows are great. We have great fans. They go wild for all of our shows and stuff. And we usually like have random people in the crowd sit up on stage with us. We throw random props on stage. We have like wacky fucking tube guys that do like the weird dance thing.
Feel like the car
we beat up people on stage. We're gonna rob some people on stage here in a couple of days. We have a show December 11th in Lakeland, the Holiday Hootenanny with Trauma Bonds and a few other great bands. So it's been wonderful as of late, especially because all of our shows have just been amazing.
Like the last show we played, I saw a video that someone sent after, and I was like, yo, I feel like I'm looking at a video of Slipknot. There's so many dudes on stage right now.
There's like 10 people on stage at one point.
Or something.
that's fucking
cool.
awesome. That's great. Yeah, absolutely. What about in terms of like going to a show as as a fan? What's been like? What was the big first comeback one that you went to?
I got one. I got to see. It wasn't the first show back, but like the biggest show back that I've seen was I got to see Slipknot in Tampa on my birthday.
Woo.
And my highlight story of that is being in the crowd, getting like shoved around, pushed around, and for whatever reason my hand was out, and all of a sudden a drumstick lands in my hand. I'm just like, is there a magnet in my hand? Like some guy turned around, he's like, did you just really catch that? And I'm like, I think so. The Slipknot show was tight. That was cool.
Yeah, they are.
I
got
first time seeing them too.
Oh wow.
I'm sitting here trying to think of like what my first show back was too. I can't really even place it. I saw Acacia Strain not too long ago. That was really dope. Yeah, that was my first time ever seeing them. Been one of my like favorite bands from like high school and everything. And my first time seeing them and stuff.
I think they're about to be up. I think they're about to have a show in Michigan like this week. Actually, I think.
Yeah, they're doing it with the Kubla Khan and everybody. Like,
yeah.
Dying Wish was really fucking good. The first time I ever heard of them at that show.
I've seen videos about Dying Wish.
They're
They
good.
look like the up and coming.
Their singer has a whole lot of energy on stage. Like that chick throws down.
All the time now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I should probably give them a deeper dive for sure. That fucking one of the first ones I got to go back to this year. No, fuck. I think I had seen them before, but with a completely different lineup. That Lorna Shore. Have you guys heard that new Lorna Shore?
Oh my God.
They're-
It's like everywhere, man. How
Yeah.
could we not have, you
Yeah.
know?
It's fucking gnarly, and
Talked there for a minute.
they sound absolutely perfect live. They're very impressive live band too.
I
Highly
can only
recommend that.
imagine.
Yeah. What about what's your okay, how about this? Like taking away the pandemic and everything. Favorite show experience you guys have ever had, either as a fan or playing one?
As a fan, I'd say I got to go to like all the Sounds of the Underground tours. It was like a big tour like back in the day. I went to like every single one of them, and it was just like the most amazing tour. And it had all the best bands, and I got to see Guar all the time. You know, that shit was awesome on stage. You know, so those really changed kind of who I was, like shaped who I was as a young kid.
All right, so favorite experience as a fan. It was like my first or second time going to Warped Tour when I was a teenager, and Less Than Jake was on stage, and I was like, I made it like a thing. I was like, I'm gonna crowd surf for the first time, but I didn't know what to do. So like, I walked up to like the biggest dude I found, right, big old buff dude, fucking shirtless, and I was like, hey man, can you help me crowd surf? And he's like, yep. And he just yoked me up and just launched me. I'm airborne in 2 seconds, and I went on my merry way.
That's awesome.
But I think the best performance was when we were in our last band.
Oh, that was great.
And someone told me that the PA system used to belong to James Hetfield, and I was like, "Can you tell me this is Metallica's PA?" That made it. That like did it for me. Like young Wesley was so stoked.
Well, that's fantastic. Hell yeah. What would be like how do I put this? What would be your like ideal like dream piece of gear? Like your dream guitar or amp or pedal or microphone or anything.
You want to go first?
I really don't have anything.
I have like a wish list.
That question usually doesn't go very well with the singers.
No, I have my microphone. It works well.
You know, the sound guy gives me a microphone. That's my dream piece of gear.
I've evolved from that. I used to break microphones.
No, you used to smash them into your fucking forehead is what you used to do.
So that's when I got my own.
Like on purpose or swinging it around?
Oh man.
It is both. Depending on like how the night was going, I would get like real amped up into it, and like people would like into it. Like, I'd be like bleeding down my face, and people were like, "Oh!" and I'd like try to make myself bleed more. Like I don't know. They thought it was cool, so I was into it.
It's metal.
Yeah, every time he'd start bleeding, he'd always have to announce it. I'm fucking bleeding. Every fucking time at shows, dude. Every time. Yeah. I just recently bought a Kemper, and now I got that LTD, and I got like a little recording studio thing in my bedroom now, so I'm like starting to collect more and more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I have all kinds of tube amps and pedals and all kinds of stuff too, and it's been like a culmination of a bunch of years. But I pretty much buy everything that I want. Like I think I do want to get an Axe now as well, just to kind of see the contrast. I've kind of moved on from tube amps just because they're so temperamental and stuff, and having to take them in a van on tour, bouncing around, and something could happen. Mm-hmm. And I've been pretty lucky on that part, but I'm trying to move into like the future of it, so move on into the digital age.
I feel that absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any? Are you any like new or upcoming albums coming out soon that you're really anticipating? It's the end of the year, or maybe your favorite album from this past year. At the end of every year, we do like a album of the year, Filthy 15 list is what we call it. And so yeah, what are your top albums of the year so far?
I listened to a lot of Body Snatcher this year.
Nice.
Also, non-metal related,
Yeah.
Thundercat. Yeah, that shit slaps.
I don't know that.
Yo, Thundercat. All right, so back in the day, apparently, I don't know for how long, but he played bass in Suicidal.
Oh.
At some point along the way, he did a bunch of music for like Adult Swim, like their background music, whatever. And he's got a song you should look up, Dragon Ball Do Rag. Like not Grammy nominated. Like his whole recent album is like fucking mid, bro. You gotta check it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Wesley turned me on to this guy too.
It's
Great.
definitely not metal at all. Like don't go into it thinking you're gonna headbang, but just like sit back, get in that relaxation mode, and just that's what you want to listen to.
Hell yeah.
I guess for me, Suicide Silence put out a really good album this last year. Their shit was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a few. I'm trying to think of like a couple that have like kind of like hit me really hard. The last Whitechapel album really hit me hard. With like Black Bear and everything. No, that's the brand new one.
Yeah.
Like I've heard that one a few times. I'm talking about
the Valley.
The Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That one like really hit me hard for a while. There's been it was a really good one. But mainly I kind of like go back to like listening to old Fear Factory albums and stuff a lot. Like I find myself doing that. Like kind of like when I was coming up and like didn't know how to play anything, I knew I could chug real fast. So I would just like put the Fear Factory album on my Xbox, like first generation, and just like do that shit. So they've inspired me a lot. So I kind of just go back and listen to that. And old Static X, Static X's new album was really good. It actually was really, really good without Wayne. I know a lot of people, that's a real big controversial thing right there. I'll probably get crucified for that somewhere.
Have they do they still keep that singer a secret? Does anybody know who he is?
I think they pretty know. Everybody knows it's the Ed Sold Dope, the guy from Dope.
Okay, yeah. That's what I had heard.
Because they go on tour together, like
exactly.
Like literally, the dude probably just does like two
duty
sets a night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is talent. That's not easy. It's like when
I did that once, and I was like, never again.
Yeah.
No way, dude.
I saw a tour once when with Megadeth and Lamb of God when Chris Adler was still in Lamb of God and he was playing Lamb of God set and Megadeth set every night. It's like, holy shit, man.
Oof.
That's intense.
Damn, that would not be easy.
No, not at all. I swear though, it's pretty wild to me. As always, huge shout out to Keith from the Convalescents. He has sent so many bands my way, and a big handful of them are all from Florida, which is awesome. And but it's
like that here.
That's the thing. It seems like the coolest part is like all you guys sound so different from each other, and it's kind of all coming out of. Florida's a huge state, so but similar areas in general. Do you have like a favorite band from your area right now?
I got one.
Oh, say that again, Wes.
Cheers. No, you're gonna tell them.
I got one. Rivers is a really, really great band from this area. I like to shout out the Chris Acosta. That dude's just he's a super duper sweetheart, and he just makes really, really good sonically sounding music, and he does a bunch of recording and stuff, and he's just a really good dude in our scene. So shout out to Rivers.
Hell yeah.
The big one, I guess, for me is like this band I've been like following for years. Like we would always I'd talk to like their members and stuff. Eric Cura and Clearwater, I think they're from. Like I'd always talk to their guitar player all the time about playing shows together, and we'd always we finally found a way to make it happen. So always try to keep in touch with those guys a lot. And over the years, their music is hard. I like those guys a lot. Definitely somebody I would like to tour with at some point.
We have a lot of great bands in this area, like No Self, Nail Wound, Knife Lighter. There's so many amazing bands that come out from this little area.
And Demon Fuck.
Yeah, Demon Fuck. That band is ridiculous.
Shout out to Demon Fuck. Emphasis on Demon Fuck.
It's a great name. I will have to.
Oh, yeah, they're Demon F band, so they can actually like sponsor ads.
Send them on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah. Demon
Yeah.
F band.
Hell yeah. Yeah, because that's certain places they don't like that sort of title.
Well, it's just, the old
perfect for us.
Zuckerberg, won't let you sponsor the word fuck.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's great though. Have you ever heard of who was I just talking? Blood of Angels?
Yeah.
I think they're from down there too. I just talked to them a few weeks back, and yeah, it's just wild. Like there's so many different sounds, and kind of like to what you were talking about earlier about how it just has to be heavy. That's number one thing. And it doesn't like that. That seems to be that's something I've been noticing is that like everybody wants to be heavy as hell, which is awesome, but it's nobody is sticking to one thing. It's like this current generation of bands seems like they don't really care about what subgenre anybody puts them in. They're just peeling away any piece, of their different influences and bringing them all together. And it's kind of like creating a whole lot of different new sounds. It's wild.
I feel that.
I like that though. I like the because when I was growing up, you guys are about the same age as me. It was like you had all these like elitists. Like if you like Metallica, you're not allowed to like Poison or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. And I feel like a lot. And then like over time, a million different subgenres became invented, and now it's like there's so many that like it's kind of those walls are kind of coming down. It feels like a bit, which is exciting.
Well, I feel like that happened when people started being able to do really good recording at their home. Because before, all those bands from back then had to go to these super duper expensive fucking recording studios, and they could only put down what they could do because they had to do the punch out, get the shit knocked the fuck out. They didn't have time to sit there at their house and play with the song for hours, going back and forth.
Damn arm and a leg for the damn studio.
Exactly, and now all these bands have so many different like influences, like you said, and this is like the age of the guitar player right now. I feel like there's more guitar players now that are just ridiculous shredders and like super innovative guitar players than ever before. Like I know there were shredders from back in the day, but people like Toast and Abasi, like people like Tim Henson, just people like that, just coming up with totally crazy shit, are able to sit down in their studio and just have your time and work on music and stuff and create your ideas. And before they didn't have that, so now like subgenres are kind of just like out the door because you can put whatever the fuck you want to on a track.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. I enjoy that aspect. I just I never liked the if we're metalheads, like we shouldn't be dividing. We should be coming together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Because frankly, there's not many of us. That's why I always.
This is a very small group already.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I always start off if I was on the show with someone that I've never like talked to before, really, or met in person, is asking them about the metal origin story, because I'm always fascinated. Not 90% of the population thinks what we like is just crazy, so. I'm just always interested to know how people got into it. A lot of times it is like for me, it was my uncle, for you guys, your dad. Like, and that is what a lot of it is. It's usually somebody showing you at some point. Not very many people stumbled into it, without being shown something at some point, which is awesome. Yeah. So, the you said you are working on some new material right now. You said hopefully within a year we'll be able to. Do you have any more like plans for music videos like you did for, because Caveman's not a brand new track, but the video is, correct?
Yes, correct. Exactly.
So any plans on doing anything like that with any of the others? I know you have the awesome video for Pariah, but
There's an idea that we were pondering around. We have lots of different live shots and videos,
Ooh.
and just like with like recording music, there's the ability to do video and stuff like at the house, like
Yep.
on my computer now. Like we've been doing like all these like memes and little joke videos and different stuff. Like it's just all made at the comfort of this computer here. So gonna just mash everything up together and maybe do something like that. That's been an idea that's been on the table for a little bit. Don't know for what song, but with something like that, to figure, just slap a song.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. That'd be sweet. Absolutely.
That's definitely an idea that's on the table.
Nice. What would you say? What would you say? Like what is your least favorite song you've ever written?
Oh God.
Not
I don't
necessarily.
even want to say it because it does really well. Like it does better than some of our other songs on Spotify and like Pandora and stuff like that. So I don't want to say what song it is, but there's a specific song in our set that everybody in the band just absolutely laments going through every single time. Like sometimes we don't even play it at band practice. We're just like, yo, fuck that song. But we got to kind of respect the numbers of like the fans and stuff because, and in the long run, it's really not about us. We're not writing music for us. We're writing music for fans, someone that can connect and, maybe get something from it in some way or some shape or form. So.
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
So I don't want to answer the question.
That's fine. That's fine. No, there was, normally I do this with co-host, my buddy Aaron, who is a drummer for a band up here in Michigan called Bog Wraith. And but him and I met initially because I was kind of like working with a band called Medica. And I was just I was helping them. I'd run the merch table while they played and all that shit. And and eventually Aaron joined Medica, and that's how him and I met. And then but during that time there was one song that Medica played that is the same deal. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but it was the same deal, like where the whole band hated it. Like hated playing it, never wanted to. But I fucking loved it. I thought it was a great song, and I always tried to get them to play it. They never would. And then one time they even did tell me once, we're going to give you a CD with just that same song 10 times over. And they never did. But it was a cool little song. It was totally different sounding than anything else they had done. Like the singer, his name is Sisto. He the way he would sing it was like almost like a Jack Skellington voice, kind of, from Nightmare. And it was just really weird, creepy song. I liked it though, but they all fucking hated it. So I get it.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I do got to ask, because you are a guitar player, and actually in a couple of weeks now, it'll be 1 year ago that like my fucking absolute like idol, part of the reason why I do all this, everything, Alexi Laho passes away. And that was like fucked up for me for a while. That was really, because he was like, it's like one of the first ones from like our generation kind of that like really connected with me. And like he was one of the first ones that we lost. Like it's not very, there's been others, Wayne Static, Mitch, there's been plenty of others, but like, man, that was a big one. So did you ever get to see them live, or ever really like listen to Bodum at all, or anything? Any influence on you?
I had the Alexi Laho instructional DVD.
I have both of them right there,
and
like literally sitting across from me right now.
It fucking cracked me up when I watched it. He's like, this is what it should sound like. And he was like, and then this is it slow. And the shit was just like, what the fuck, dude? How am I supposed to learn that?
Yeah.
So he was obviously a super influential guitar player. He was way ahead of his time in so many different ways. I never really could say that I got like super duper crazy into them. However, I know I give the man respect where respect is due. The dude was a prodigy, you know.
He really was. He really was. I mean, he started playing at such a young age. I think he was like 4 or 5 when he started playing violin, and then, you know, obviously later found the guitar. But yeah, he was a man. Because they were another one where like first time I ever saw them live was the Blood Drunk tour. I think in 2009, I want to say, with fucking fuck. It was like them, Black Dahlia Murder, Skeleton Witch, and Austrian Death Machine.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, that's a sick tour.
Yeah, dude, that was a wild one. And then after that, I never missed one of their shows in Michigan ever during that whole 10, 11 years or whatever. But yeah, they were a big one for me for sure. For sure. So I always like asking new people if he had a big influence on you or anything. Now, sidestepping a little bit, another, like, besides metal, another really big passion of mine personally is the world of the paranormal, I guess you could say. I'm actually working on and planning on starting a paranormal podcast here sometime in the next couple months, probably. I'm gonna call it Follow the Reaper. About him.
That's fucking awesome.
So I'm curious. I always like asking everyone, do either of you have either of you ever had an experience in your life that you would describe as paranormal? And it doesn't necessarily mean ghosts, it means like that, all of it.
Aliens, in that mix.
Yep, all that stuff.
So I remember this one time, and like nobody believes me, but this one time I was when I was still living at my parents' house, I was standing on the back porch, I was smoking a bowl, and I look up in the sky.
But you were stoned.
Dude, I know. I look up in the sky, and like, you know, you see like the airplanes going by in the sky, you see their headlights on or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look up in the sky and see this little light, and it just like shot up and then down and like left and right, and like it zigzagged all over the place. And I'm looking at this thing the whole time, just like mouth dropped. I'm like, I've never seen an airplane do that before. And all of a sudden, it just went away. Like, it just like, whoop, all of a sudden it's gone. Like, oh shit, Wesley saw me, I'm out. And I'm just looking at like, no one's around. Nobody saw this, and nobody believes me. But I've looked up videos about it, and other people claim the same thing. So I don't think I'm crazy.
Oh,
there's stoned, bro.
Nope.
There's a.
Nope.
I've been really stoned. I've never hallucinated a UFO though, so I don't think that
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was doing. I was sitting out there smoking some weed, you know, whatever. But like, I looked up and saw that, and like, to this day, I've never seen anything like it again.
And that took place in Florida?
Yeah, that was in Florida. That was in D-Land.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just busting your balls. I believe in aliens and shit too. I've seen them outside of like venues and stuff. We were playing this show in this place called Rock Bar in Daytona, and I was out back and I was fucking shit hammered, and that's why nobody really believes me. But I remember looking up at the sky, and it was like it fucking did like a thing back and forth, like zip 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 zip, pew, and it was just gone.
That's what I saw.
That is
so
wild.
yeah, I've seen the same shit.
I've never seen anything like that. That's pretty wild. But
for the longest time, we've had this thing with this band called Life Alive, which is another band that I'm in now. But we used to do all these ghost hunting things. We used to go to like random places, like they were like all abandoned and shit, and just like try to see if we can catch something weird on video.
They took me out once before on that shit.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, I love doing that stuff. I go, you know, a lot of the places that you see on TV and stuff. A lot of those places, like anybody can like buy a ticket and they'll lock you in overnight. And I've done all but one that I'm aware of in Michigan, and I've even done a couple one down in Indiana, and there's one in Ohio. I'm dying to go. I would love to go to Mansfield someday. But you know, it's the kind of thing where my approach to it all, it's just something I've been fascinated and been in love with since I was a little kid. And but I'm also like fairly skeptical too. So like, you know, I come at it that way. You know, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence sort of thing. Yeah.
That's
and
where
I
to
got
go
the,
about it too. So
yeah, and I got the fuck it here. I got the I want to believe poster is always hanging up in the studio, you know, that kind of thing. So I love asking people about it. And I have heard there's a great podcast called Monsters Among Us. And it's literally the whole thing is just like people calling in and telling their story. So many stories I've heard of these weird zigzagging lights in the sky. And it's just very strange. And Florida especially seems to be a pretty big hotspot for that kind of stuff. So that's awesome.
We're right here by the Bermuda Triangle, you know, we're right off the shore.
That's crazy. Like other people, like I saw that, and I've never once seen what I saw ever again. It was a one-time deal, and it's something that like I had never seen before, and never seen since. I remember when I was standing there looking at it, like I was just like it was like a starstruck moment. You just like stood there and just looked up, like it was like I felt almost scared, you know, like it was a weird feeling.
Yeah, it makes you feel odd.
It was weird.
Fascinating.
I have another story for you too.
Yes.
I didn't actually see it, but when we were kids and stuff, my dad was driving the car, my brother was in the front seat, and it was like me and my sister, and like we're sleeping in the back seat, and we're like heading somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere, like Wesley Chapel, like Tampa area. And I had fallen asleep, and I woke up, and my dad and my brother were like freaking the fuck out. They were like, "Oh my god, like what the fuck?" And I'm like, "What happened? What happened?" And they were just like, "Dude, like we were like in this orange field, like it was like a big orange grove, and fucking apparently a fucking UFO just like hovered above them, like hovered above our car, and just like went over it into the tree line, and they saw it." And I remember waking up to their reaction of it. And I didn't actually see it, but they are like super convinced of what they saw. And just to see their reaction of it, my dad was like freaking the fuck out. He was like trying to drive faster to get the fuck away from where we were and shit. And it was definitely an odd experience there.
Did either of them describe what it looked like?
They said it was just like it like had no reflection. It was like a black void. Like it was like a void of any color, void of any really like sound and stuff. But they said that when it was coming over them, they like immediately saw it. So like they're like, it must have like attracted their sight to it or something, just to kind of like show like that it was right there.
Mm-hmm.
But they were freaking the fuck out, because I remember waking up. My sister stayed asleep. I remember waking up and like, "Oh man, like turn around, like I want to go see it." Like I was so fucking excited, and of course he never turned around. But it was definitely a weird experience for like a little alien type thing.
That is a pretty wild story. That is a pretty wild story. I actually have some friends that I met through doing the podcast, some other people from up here in Michigan, Wayne and Michelle, shout out. And they host a podcast called the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. And they started it, like they actually just started the podcast like less than a year ago now, probably. And they initially started a Facebook group after in March of 2018. They were driving home down in the Detroit area, and they're coming over. They're getting on a freeway on the entrance ramp, and they look over, and they fucking see a fucking triangle, like a black triangle, no sound, and it looks like that, whatever they call it, Fanta black, that like it looks like it's literally absorbing light around it. And they said,
that's what they said too. That's what my dad and brother said too. So,
and after that, they started their Facebook group, and it grew and grew and grew, and they ended up starting a podcast and have had some pretty amazing guests on and stuff, and talking about their experience and talking with others who have seen similar things. And it's I mean, I don't know, I can't. Yeah, it's very strange. It's very strange to me, because it's either like they're here, or like my only problem with I believe in aliens 100%. There's no question that Earth is the only life in the universe. There's no way.
It would be crazy to think that.
Yeah,
there's so many planets yet to be undiscovered.
you know, we don't even have a word trillions, you know what I mean? It's insane.
Exactly.
And you know, but the only thing of that is like, how would they know to come here is the thing? Because we know, like, when we look through a telescope and look at the moon or another planet or whatever, there's time delay. It takes time for the light to reach the lens. So, and then if you kind of draw like a orbit or whatever around Earth, and you see like how like one of the first signals that left Earth, I believe, was a speech that Hitler gave on the radio. And so like that radio wave is one of like the farthest things out that anybody could see. And even in that diameter, there's no life, you know, out there. So it just like, how would they have known to come here? That's the only part of it that bugs me. But we get all these fucking reports. You guys have seen what you've seen. My friends up here saw what they saw. And on top of all that, we got this, the Tic Tac UFO with Commander Fravor now, the Pentagon report, where they basically were like, yeah, something's here. We just don't know what they are.
Real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that shit. That's part of like the
Yeah.
COVID bill, right? Like
Yeah.
where they had to like, are aliens real? Like, yeah, they're real.
Mhm.
And no one talking about it. Like, no one seems to care.
Don't talk about that.
Nope. Yeah. It's wild. It is wild. It is exciting though. I love this stuff so much.
Tom DeLonge to come out with like some report about everything.
Dude, he is a fucking alien, man.
Yeah. He might be. Did you ever come across anything when you were out on those abandoned ghost places, ghost hunts?
We had an instance where like we heard like whimpering. We were like in this place, it's called JR's. It's like an abandoned like old historical hotel, and was always full of a bunch of like drug addicts and shit, and all kinds of crazy stuff was going on there all the time. And they finally shut it all down, and they gutted the place. So there's like no walls, there's no nothing in there. It's just stairs to get up to places. There's all kinds of pentagrams like spray painted everywhere, like dead birds and shit all over the place. It like just smells terrible, you know what I mean?
Normal teenagers are into.
Yeah, exactly. You know, perfect setup for any kind of horror movie.
Yeah.
And we were all there with like a big group, like me, Sebastian, which is the singer for Life Alive, a couple other people, Bryson, just random friends. And we were just sitting at the end of this hall on like the second story, the second floor. And we started hearing like a weird, like weird sigh, like almost, but it continued to happen like every couple minutes. So we like, is anybody doing that? Cause like we didn't turn any lights on. We're just walking around in pitch black darkness. And everybody's like, no, dude, like I thought one of you fucking assholes were doing it, like blaming everybody, like you just trying to fuck with people, but nobody in our group was doing it. And I have like video, like not video, but audio recording of it because it was just so dark you couldn't get anything on video. So I have like, we're hearing whimpering, and it's just like a weird like sound. It wasn't like a cat.
It was a very faint sound.
It was like very faint and very like a crying woman, like, you know.
And it was also the same place that it was like somebody that like killed herself.
She jumped off the second story balcony because her baby had died in the bedroom.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she jumped. Yeah, and this is like this place is like 2 blocks away from where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
We can go and break in there right now.
If I had a laptop, we could bring you with us.
Wow. That's pretty wild. I don't think I've ever heard anything like that before. I mean, well, there's this one place in Detroit called Fort Wayne. It's an old Revolutionary War fort or something like that. And I've been there 3 times, I believe, to do a little investigating. And every time I've been there, something weird has happened. Probably the most active place I've ever been. There was one time where I'm sitting there. We went to like, they had a little jail building. And it was kind of weird because it was like the most well-kept, brightly lit, looked like the nicest building on the whole property. And we go in there, and there's like a door open with like, it's like a standard furnace room, you know, got the furnace in there and all that shit, concrete floors and unfinished, you know. And there's just a chair. There's a chair sitting there. And so I sit down in the chair, and I'm sitting across from like a chalkboard that's laying on the floor. And then to the left of the chalkboard is a table. There's like a desk with in there's a drawer that's like just slightly pulled open a little bit. And sitting on top of the table, there is a can of Diet Coke, and empty. And as I'm sitting there, fucking kind of like trying to do like an EVP session or something like that, somebody else is right next to me, standing to my left, and we're both looking kind of at the chalkboard, and we see this Coke can literally, like, no breeze. It couldn't have just fallen over. It literally looked like someone had picked it up and then just placed it right in the open drawer in front of it. It didn't like fall and roll or anything like that. It just looked picked up and set in the drawer. And I looked over. I was like, "Did you see that?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, well, that just happened." It's fucking weird.
That is fucking odd.
And then another time we were back a few years after that, we were in a group, but I was there with me, a friend, and two other friends, and then there was like, you know, everybody else in the tour group or whatever. And we were in like a part of it where it's like it's just like it's a room that's all brick, and it's like a circle, and there's one tiny little hole, and that's where like the gunner would point his gun out. And we're standing in there, and I'm holding one of those EMF detectors, and this thing has been silent the whole time. Nothing's happening. And so everybody starts going around the room kind of asking questions, and nothing, no one's getting anything. And then I was just like, if you want us to, or light this thing up in my hand if you want us to leave. And the thing starts pinning like a motherfucker, like goes all the way to red.
Shit.
Like it just starts going nuts, and then it stops.
Time to go.
Yeah, everybody just kind of like looked at each other like, all right, let's couple more people ask questions. Nothing. I was like, are you unhappy that we're here? Starts going nuts again. And so at that point,
Oh shit.
yeah,
Fuck that.
yeah, the tour guide at that point was like, all right, well, we should move to a different room now. It's like, all right.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, that was a wild one. That was a good one. I've had a couple little things like that, but nothing too crazy. And that's part of why I still like go on these hunts and investigating all that, because still looking for that one thing to happen where I go, oh my God, you know what I mean? It is real.
That's undescribable. Yeah, it's gonna be fucking for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had instances where I've had when I was a kid and stuff, we lived in like a haunted house.
Okay.
It was just like weird happenings and stuff, like silverware like sliding across the counter and shit, and just like random like stupid stuff. And I remember sitting on my couch and stuff, and you know, it's like back when like cable was like a real big thing, so we had like Cinemax and HBO and all this other crazy fucking like movie networks and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I remember watching Starship Troopers on the couch, and my mom had all these like crazy like little clocks and pretties and little like, you know, ornaments and stuff all over the house. Mm-hmm. And I remember looking over at this shelf and watching this like little baby grandfather clock. It was like, you know, so big. I remember it just like fucking sitting on the shelf, and it just like flew across the room, smashed on the fucking ground. And my mom came out like right at the same time, and she started yelling at me, like thinking that I broke it. And I'm like, Mom, I'm all the way the fuck over here. Like, I didn't do that. You know, so like we've seen a bunch of stuff like in my life. I really do believe that ghosts are like very, very real. 100%.
That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. I don't think I've ever lived anywhere that was super haunted, but one of the houses I lived in growing up, there was one time where I was you know, in my room like going to sleep or something like that, and it was upstairs, and it was like my room as like at the first one at the top of the stairs to the right, and then you keep walking straight, and on the left is my parents' room, and then right in front of you is my sister's room. And the upstairs of this house was completely carpeted. And I'm sitting in my bedroom one night, and I swear to God, I hear cowboy boots hitting a wooden floor, walking up and down that hallway. The hallway is literally maybe 15 feet long. It's not big at all. And yeah, and I just sat there. Like my door was open and everything, so I was trying to like peek out to see like what the hell it was, and there was nothing there. And I heard it, but like for a while. It wasn't just like one or two, it was like someone walking up and down the hallway over and over. That was fucking trippy. That was the only thing that really ever happened in that house. Never happened again either. That I remember.
That's still wild though. That's fucking crazy.
That freaked me the
fuck
fuck out.
We have a couple different places over here that are like famously haunted. Like we have Casadega.
Okay.
Like right down the way over here.
Nice.
Got the Devil's Chair.
Yeah, Devil's Chair, the Casadega Hotel. It's like famously haunted. It's on like,
I feel like I've heard of that.
10 haunted places of the world, you know, like those little lists and shit. There's all kinds of witches and like mediums and stuff in the town, so it's very like spiritually charged.
Also 10 minutes away from this location we're at right now.
Yeah,
God
it's
damn.
really close. We can.
Everything's like real next to each other over here.
I did
It's a cool little area.
the last time I was in Florida, I went down to Key West, and I went and saw Robert the Doll at that little museum down there. That was pretty interesting.
Did it move?
No, didn't do anything.
Damn.
But what was actually, because the whole thing about it is like if you take a picture, you got to ask for permission or it'll fuck with you once you leave or something like that. I didn't take any pictures, but I think one of my friends did, who we were with, and I'm pretty sure he did ask for permission, so nothing should have happened. But then when we got back to our room that night, or this little half of a condo that we were renting, I saw like, and we had already been there for almost a week, so and like nothing weird had happened at all. And I saw like 2 cockroaches like run off somewhere, and then right after that, one of the lights in the house just starts going on and off like crazy. So that was weird.
Damn, it was a good place with the 2 cockroaches, dude. That's everywhere in Florida.
Yeah, I chalked that up to that, but it was just weird. We'd been there all week and I hadn't seen one, and then all of a sudden we get back after Robert the Doll, and there they are, and the lights are going on and off. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like a bad omen, like cockroaches. Your life is fucked.
Oh man,
Do you guys have cockroaches up there? I'm like up north because it's so fucking cold all the time.
not really. Like we do. I remember one of the buildings my mom worked in when I was growing up down in Detroit. They had a lot. So yeah, they're around. They're definitely around. But yeah, man, we've been at it for about an hour now. I don't want to keep you guys like too long or anything. But thank you very much for sharing those stories. I ask everybody that comes on if they have paranormal experiences, and it's about 50-50. So I'm glad both of you had some good ones there. That was awesome. But yeah,
man.
all my pleasure, seriously. And before we get out of here, is there anything that you guys want to plug? The new Caveman video, anything else?
GoonlordFL.com. Anything, social media, webs, videos, our merch, you can get online. Everything's gonna be there.
Beautiful.
Jono's got one.
Yeah, we just came out with a new Goonlord music video. Check that out on YouTube, Goonlord FL.
Yep. Links to all of that will be in the description below.
Awesome.
And I'll be sure, and I'll do. I always do a thing at the top of every episode too, where I'll come in and plug at the beginning as well for you guys. But yeah, thank you guys so much. This has been an absolute treat, and I really hope to get to see you play live sometime. And you guys are welcome back on the show anytime you want. You got something to promote, you just want to shoot the shit for a while, whatever. You guys are welcome back anytime.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. My pleasure. Here, I'll stop the recording and then we'll get out of here. But here we go. I certainly was not expecting the stories that they told at the end when I did the paranormal question. That was insane. We went down some rabbit holes right there, and They had some great stories, man. They had a great story of how they came to be, the name, everything. It was just an honor to get to talk to these guys. It's one of the ones, it's one of these ones where it's like within like 20 minutes of talking to them, I was like, oh, I feel like I've known these guys my whole life. And those episodes are always extremely special, especially when you're meeting someone awkwardly on the first time through webcam and you're doing a podcast. It's weird. But so many times over and over, it's just been within the first 10, 20 minutes. It's like, oh, okay. Like, we're metalheads. We got this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's always really special for me. So I can never thank Goonlord enough for being on the show. I already can't wait to have them back on and hear what they have coming next. Everybody be sure to check out all things Goonlord. Links in the description below. But that's going to do it for this episode, my friends. So thank you so much, Goonlord, for being on. You guys are fucking amazing. And thank you all for watching all the way to the end. If you're seeing this right now, you're my fucking hero. And at this point, you know what to do. Raise your fucking horns and bang your goddamn heads to some fucking Goonlord. We love you all to death. And we'll be back again next with our holiday Christmas special. We love you all to death. Good night. Blah.